Hey,
What's up?
going on?
What's going on?
As you can see, we are in the palatial Opinion City
Right.
estate here.
Estate.
We are
in PA.
We are chilling in PA, getting ready for some major wrestling tomorrow. It's going to be a big day.
Mhm.
We've got Bad Blood,
Yep.
as you can see, will be on at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on Peacock. That will be emanating from Atlanta, so that's pretty exciting stuff. So
Very
it should be a great show.
Indeed.
But here we are. I'm King Ralph. I got Parmesan.
We're
both here in Pennsylvania, which is amazing. We're both here in the house. So we're super excited for a ton of wrestling this weekend.
Yes, a ton of wrestling.
Some amazing wrestling this weekend, and I'm super excited.
I'm so excited.
You know, as Bad Blood has been building, like it seems every single match is continuing to build on the match that was announced before.
Right.
With the exception of one. I will tell you that there's one match I'm not excited for at all, but we'll get into that.
Okay.
So obviously we've got the doubleheader tomorrow. We've got Bad Blood happening while you and I will be in the Christmas City, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Right.
We will be at the Steelstacks Smackdown 3 from the Arts Quest Music.
Year 2 for us.
Yes, the Arts Quest Music Fest Cafe in Bethlehem on the grounds of the Steelstacks.
Right.
And again, you know, as you said, our second year there. So doors open at 6:30 for a 90-minute meet and greet. And you and I will be there at the meet and greet. We will be interviewing wrestlers. We'll be talking to fans. We'll just be having a great time.
That's right.
And then 8:00 bell time for that show.
Right.
So it's gonna be a really interesting weekend.
Stacked card.
An interesting day, to say the least. While that's going on, we will be anxiously awaiting Bad Blood. We'll come home and
watch that.
And it's funny because Sonia
respect the pause.
Well,
respect the pause.
Sonia and I were talking about it, and she was like, "Well, we're probably gonna have to watch like CM Punk and Drew when we get home." I'm like, I'm pretty sure we're gonna end up watching the whole thing when we get home. Right. I mean, you know, a couple things about WWE pay-per-views before we actually get into this card.
Right.
So I like that they're on Saturdays now.
Yes.
I think that's a huge
definitely
plus.
A bonus.
I like that they are doing things like starting early. So you see that the other pay-per-views, the international ones, are starting much earlier. So they decide this time, hey, let's start Bad Blood at 6 p.m.
Right.
So I like that. I just like everything they're doing with the pay-per-view structure right now. I think it's
lots of changes.
Yeah, and I think they're all for the better. I think this is all part of like the Triple H era, and you know, making some changes for the better.
Right.
So I like them, but let's get into some Bad Blood.
Let's do it.
Let's
get into the card, the matches.
All right, let's take a look at Bad Blood.
Let's go.
All right, so this is our first match we're going to talk about. We have Nia Jax defending her world championship against Bayley.
That's right.
Bayley getting the win over Naomi on SmackDown. Now, in all fairness, it's Friday night. We have not seen SmackDown.
We have not seen SmackDown.
We don't know if anything new has happened during SmackDown.
Been added. Right.
We don't know if there's been any developments or anything like that, but we're just going off of what we know going into SmackDown tonight. So, of course, Bayley getting the win over friend Naomi. It looked like Naomi might make the turn on her, and then Naomi congratulates her. We still don't 100% know where Naomi is in all of this. But this is Bayley getting pretty much getting her rematch, having to earn it, but still getting her rematch. So what are your thoughts on this match?
I think if they were going to turn Naomi heel, it would be tomorrow night, in the fact that Naomi would cost Bayley the championship against Nia Jax, or which could be happening at any moment, at any time, Tiffy time could happen, At any moment, it's always there.
Tiffy time,
it's always in the back of the mind.
Time is a big one. Yeah,
it's always in the back of the mind that when could she cash in?
Yeah,
especially on her best friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so either those. I don't see Bayley winning this match. Bottom line, I just don't see her winning it. I think not. I think they want Nia to hold it for kind of a bit of a chunk.
I think it's Nia's time.
Yeah.
I think it's Nia's time to really show what she can do as a champion. I think it's time for her. I think, you know, they kind of got themselves in a corner with Tiffy where, you know, they had her win Money in the Bank. And so now she's always kind of like in the shadows of the title picture. Right. And I feel like sometimes that keeps Nia from being like the 100% like dominant monster champion. And that's what after she won the title, that was the first
thing it should have been the whole time.
That's what I want to see.
A dominant champion, right?
Yeah. So that's what I wanted to see. We haven't necessarily gotten that yet, where she's just like this monster heel dominant champion.
Right.
It's just steamrolling people. But I definitely think you're right. I think moving forward, you know, now that Bayley has gotten her shot at the title again, and if Bayley loses this match, I think moving forward, the smart money is for a feud with Naomi. So I like your idea there. I think that's definitely the smart money here. I think that's the way to go.
I just think it's smarter because we've already seen Bayley as the heel, and right now she's in this stage of her career where she could turn heel, but the fans may not turn with her. They'll just keep cheering for her.
Yeah, and I think if you look at Bayley and Naomi, I think Naomi is the easier one to turn heel. Exactly. I think she's the one that people could really, you know, really embrace, really as love to hate. And you know, they missed the boat with Naomi,
right?
Because I think, you know, with her connection with Jimmy that they never really talk about on TV,
right?
They could have turned her heel and had her involved in all of that, like by Jimmy's side. Because I don't think that's where they're going with Jimmy when he comes back,
right?
So I don't think like we can really do that whole Naomi and Jay together thing right now,
right?
But I think that, you know, turning Naomi heel would be smart because once Bayley loses this match, if indeed she does, again, we don't know anything.
Can't say for sure, but
if Bayley loses this match, I'm with you. What else do you do with her?
Right.
Now? What do you do with her? I mean, where
does she go? Right.
Do you move her to Raw? I don't know because there's a lot of uncertainty with
there's many variables
is left for her on SmackDown. So
yes, I think we're both agreeing that Nia Jax has never taken the belt.
I think Nia's taking this one all the way.
Right.
All right.
I agree.
Moving on to our next of the women's title matches. And this is the one that's really exciting.
Yes.
This is the big one. Recent developments in this match. Obviously, Dom Mysterio is now going to be hanging in a shark cage
above the ring
as his girlfriend, Liv Morgan, defends her WWE Women's Championship against former champion Rhea Ripley, who, quite frankly, never lost the belt.
No,
she never lost the belt.
Never lost it.
So this is, this is a bit of Rhea's own revenge tour on Liv. So here's the thing, though. All right, let's just throw this out here first. Who do you see winning this match?
I would want to say Rhea, right? But like, I feel like they want to give it to. I feel like they want to prove to maybe the fans who might still not believe, me being one of them, that she's a credible champion. That by her beating Rhea, that she's a formidable champion and that she can beat the big ones. Not to be negative, Nancy. I haven't been the biggest Liv Morgan fan of this run. I will admit it's gotten better in my eyes, but I just never fully got into the whole Dom Rhea Liv thing in the beginning until recently, where it actually got better. But like, I don't know. I want Rhea to win, but I think by the skin of her teeth and by the help of her friends, other than just Dom somehow gets out and escapes and helps her win the belt.
Okay, so I agree with you about Liv Morgan because I didn't think Liv Morgan was a credible champion at all. I think that they got the title off of Rhea and then put it on Liv the only way they could have,
right? Because
Liv was not going to legitimately beat Rhea for that title.
Right.
It was not believable. However, I think since we've had that, Liv has had very few matches since she's won the title, but she had one title defense. The last match she had with Rhea, I thought she looked very credible.
Yes.
Like they did a very good job of making her look like a champion.
Yep.
My concern with this, and it's not, does Liv look like a champion? Can Liv beat Rhea?
Right.
It's none of that. It's if Rhea takes the title from Liv now, where does this storyline go?
Right.
Because this storyline is tied into another storyline that's tied into another match on the card we'll talk about in a little bit. But this right here, how do we continue to keep the, because I don't think they're done with this story.
No.
So how do we continue to keep this going if, Rhea doesn't have, like, once Rhea wins the title, she's now gotten her hands on Dom. I'm sure if she wins the title, she's going to get her hands on him again, because she's going to have to get out of that shark cage somehow.
At some point,
And if she wins the title back, she's pretty much gotten back everything that Liv's taken from her that she wants.
Like, so like the revenge tour is over at that point.
She doesn't want Dom back. She don't care about him anymore. So, I almost feel like it's such a hard thing here, because if they go with Liv, then you're going to have like the air is going to come out of that crowd. Like it's going to deflate.
It's one of those things where, once again, not that they haven't done a good job with building this pay-per-view, but they keep backing themselves into these corners where it's like,
what do we do?
What do we do?
Because if Rhea wins the title on Saturday, that place is going to go nuts.
Oh, it's going to be a huge pop. It's going to go over. But then on Raw, what's the next step? What's phase 2? Yeah, because I don't. If Rhea handles Liv on Saturday, I don't see Liv having any other claim to the championship, right? A title match, any of that a rematch.
Stuff. I don't see her being involved in the title picture at all anymore. So I think that, I hate to say it, because I'm with you. I want to see Rhea.
I want to see Rhea retain it.
Everybody wants to see Rhea retain this, but it's like, what can you do? I think you've got to go with Liv on this one.
You got to go, by I think with help from Dom in some way. I think you have the Judgment Day come out with with the key. They have the key. Somehow they figured it out.
Possibly.
They unlock Dominic, and Dominic causes the interference, and then
it's very possible.
So
I think that's a real possibility. All right, so moving on to the next match, which again
all ties
right into what we were talking about here. We have finally we're getting the grudge match between Finn Balor,
Damian Priest.
It's time. Right. So what do we do here? Like, okay, so you're booking this match. What do you do?
I think as much as you've pushed Damian, you got to give Finn a clean win here. I think if you're going to push Finn as this new credible leader of this new Judgment Day, this new version 2.0 or 3 now, technically it's version 3, because version 1 was with Edge. You have to make him look credible. You have to make him as a leader look credible. So as much as I would personally like Damian to win, I think you give this to Finn. I think you give the Judgment Day, the new Judgment Day, you have to give them some sort of credibility, like with Liv. So in order to do that, you have Finn beat Damian. Maybe not clean, because again, you have all four of the members probably lurking somewhere to help him, but you still have him get that big win over Damian.
So again, we're talking about how do we keep this feud going,
right?
And I feel like there's 2 ways that they could go with this, because it's like, if either one of these guys beats the other one, I think it's a very much CM Punk Drew McIntyre situation where like,
you can start a feud.
Yeah, I think that these guys are still going to continue to go after each other,
right?
Even after this match. My concern here, if you have Finn Balor win, let's just say, so now you have 5 scheduled matches so far, unless they announce something tonight on SmackDown, but 5 scheduled matches. And 3 of them you have heels going over.
Right.
If they're doing things the way we think they should do things. So that's number 1. I don't know if they're gonna do that. It's very possible. The other thing I think is that we're at a point now where if we look at the Judgment Day, we've got 5 people in the Judgment Day. You've got 2 of the Terror Twins. When are they going to get some backup?
Right.
I think that's my biggest question of going into Bad Blood is, when are the Terror Twins going to get backup, and who's that backup going to be?
Right.
Because it's obviously not worked out with the LWO.
No.
So I don't know if we're going to see, Finn and Rhea form some kind of group with people, or
right.
what the situation is going to be. But every week I ask the same question.
Yeah.
It's like, how do those two think that they're going to go in there and get any ground?
Beat 2-on-5, right?
Those 5 people. It's always going to be a numbers game, and they're always going to lose.
Do you think because they're in Georgia, they may have a surprise up their sleeve for the first Bad Blood in like 10 years?
I don't know. I would not be surprised to see something happen at this pay-per-view. Very, very surprised.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they have the heels win, because I feel like Bad Blood itself in history books have had more heels win their matches than faces in the history of Bad Blood as a whole. So it wouldn't shock me if they had more heels win this and then the faces do.
It's possible.
So
because again, this is not. I mean, they're bringing this pay-per-view back, but it's not. I mean, it is, but it isn't a major pay-per-view.
Right.
I mean, it's got a Hell in a Cell on it, so obviously that's a big deal. But we don't know where this kind of falls in line as far as like the hierarchy of pay-per-views.
Right.
So is this a big enough pay-per-view where we're going to see something like that happen, where, or is it more transitional between, okay, this is what we got at SummerSlam. Right. Now we've got to get to Survivor Series. This is how we do it. Like we transition through. So I don't know. A lot more. I feel like there's a lot more questions than answers. Every time we think about questions, I feel like we get more questions every time we look at answers.
Yeah. Right.
All right. So now it's time to talk about the other 2 matches. And this has been something that has been a matter of debate on the internet within the last couple of days, is where they're going to fall on the card. Yeah.
We were just talking about this off the air before we even started, with Roman and Cody versus the Bloodline, and then obviously Drew and Punk in the Hell in a Cell. In our minds, we thought for sure Drew and Punk's on last. That's the main event of the show. They have built this for so long now and put so much stock in this storyline with these 2 men that surely it would be on last. But according to the interwebs and rumors and innuendos, supposedly Punk and Drew is on first, which means this match, Reigns and Cody versus Bloodline, is on last.
I'm not a big fan of this.
Me neither.
So
I'm not.
I feel like as much as everybody praised the meeting between Cody and Roman,
I thought that was great.
It was very good, but I feel like this section of the Bloodline storyline, this chapter of the Bloodline storyline, is not as prevalent as other chapters. I don't think, because I, for one, do not like Cody and Roman together. I'm 100% against it. I don't think it makes any sense. I don't think having a pay-per-view in Atlanta, Georgia, with Cody Rhodes as your world champion, not defending his title,
belt, right?
That's a mistake.
Right.
I feel like putting him in this tag team match is a mistake. Cody said on SmackDown, I'm done with the Bloodline.
Yep.
Even before he agreed to this match, he said, I'm done with the Bloodline, which is what should have happened.
Yeah, he should have just backed out.
He should not be in this, because there's no stake in the game for him at all now. He cleanly pinned Solo Sikoa in the cage match,
right?
Cleanly pinned him. That should have been the end of his involvement. There's nothing left for him in the Bloodline. He needs to move on and find another challenger until it's time for either Roman to step up or The Rock to come back.
That's the only thing that I can see happening tomorrow night, is if the reason why they're doing this last is always because of, if you ever go back to the history books of any Bloodline main events, something big always happens at the end. That's why they always save it for last. So 2 things I can see happening. 1, The Rock does come back, whether it be interference or at the end where he's like, why Roman? Why are you teaming with Cody, or vice versa? Or you have Jimmy come back if he's cleared and help in a way Reigns and Cody win, because obviously Solo was the one that took out Jimmy in the first place.
Yeah.
Or because they're going to be on the same show, you can tease the slow tease of Jay coming back into that fold, because he'll be on the show. He'll be there.
Or you've got 2 Bloodline members waiting in the wings.
You mean Hikuleo
and Zilla Fatu.
Right.
They could show up at any time, because they're bringing them in eventually.
Oh, yeah.
Hikuleo's already signed. They already gave him a name.
Yep.
Like that's done.
Yep.
And I think it's only a matter of time till we see Zilla
Fatu make his.
We've got to get some more numbers here.
Right.
To kind of even this out, because I really think we're going to see some kind of War Games Bloodline stuff.
Survivor Series. Yeah, I think that's definitely the end goal.
So
is they want to have that
some of this out. So I think we got to bring people in. So there's a lot of possibilities here. That's probably why it's going on last, as you said, because there's always something kind of
big that's going to happen.
Bloodline stuff.
I think
going on.
I think too with the Bloodline in general. I think they're almost going like the route of like the Bullet Club, to where how far can we push this group? And how long can we make them last? Because it's been 3 years now, but now there's a whole nother version, and they could keep bringing in other versions. As you said, you can bring in Zilla, bring in Hikuleo, and just keep evolving the bloodline.
Well, and we've still got the Rock still got to return.
And
we're still waiting on that, because what does the Rock do when he comes back? Because he already said, when I come back, I'm coming after you, Cody.
Yep.
But at the same time, he's got obvious heat with Roman.
Yep.
When does Paul Heyman come back?
Yep.
Because Rock's got heat with Roman and Paul Heyman for just ditching him at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many factors that could still happen yet when The Rock comes back.
Yeah.
So a lot of things that could go on here. I don't see how there's any way that the Bloodline doesn't somehow go over here.
Again, this is another match where they almost batted themselves into a corner. I think, in my opinion, I think it's going to be the opposite. I think, as much as you would think the Bloodline is going to win, I think they're going to have Cody and Roman win. And if they don't, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised. I will say that. But I think, in my head, if you're going to have this big build and do this whole Cody Roman thing where they don't trust each other, but like they have each other's words, that they're going to have each other's backs and things, you have them win. Maybe not like handshake, high five at the end. Maybe it's just, okay, I won and I'm out. Like, say Roman hits the pin and he just walks.
Sure.
He just hits the pin and leaves. Doesn't high five. Doesn't somebody just goes, all right, I did my job. I gave you my word. I'm out. Like,
so I don't think there's any way we get out of this match without Roman turning on Cody at some point.
Oh, of course.
I think Roman.
Oh, of course.
I think that's why I think Bloodline's going over. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Roman's got to turn on Cody here. Maybe Roman gets the win or helps Cody get the win, then turns on Cody and walks out. I don't know. Because Roman's there's not a single person in this match that Roman doesn't have a problem with.
Right.
Like, Roman hates everybody.
Right.
So
he hates the world, right.
He's just gonna, spear everybody and leave. I don't know. Maybe he just goes off and spears Jacob Fatu.
Right.
Spears Solo Sikoa.
Right.
We're ready for the pin, and all of a sudden he spears Cody,
and then just
walks away.
And then just leaves.
Like, leaves it a mess in the ring. Yeah. So I see that happening. So
I just see chaos happening.
Yes. So I'm assuming, I'm assuming there's going to be something big happening in this match. Again, we talked about that. That's probably why it's going to be on last. But for me, I don't see Bloodline getting out of this without a win, just because I don't see Roman and Cody lasting the entire night.
Right.
And that brings us to our final match.
Main event. Well, our main event.
Listen. So CM Punk and Drew McIntyre have been on fire up until this past Monday, where I thought the promo was a little lacking. And again, I'm going to go back to something. They did this a while back, and interestingly enough, Bully Ray on Busted Open called them out for it. And now I'm seeing the same thing here, because it's weird. Because as soon as it happened, I instantly thought of what Bully Ray said about the previous time that it happened. But you had Adam Pearce get in that ring and say 100% there will be no physical contact between Drew and Punk.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? We should have had physical contact between
Drew and Punk. Right.
That should have been That should have been the indication right there. Get them,
that, and they had the cell there. Why would you have the cell there if you're not going to use the cell other than to lower it in and have them trapped in the cell? So let's have this talk.
We were, when we were watching Raw, Sonia and I were watching the interview, and Sonia's like, "Why do they have the cell there?" And I'm like, "Well, it's for dramatic effect, and it's to help, push the pay-per-view and like get people to join Peacock and all this stuff." Like, because honestly, they didn't need to have all those security guards. They didn't need to do any of the things they did, because I don't feel like the separate promos that Punk and Drew gave the previous 2 weeks, I think did just as much as that promo.
Yeah, they were good.
The ring.
Yeah.
So I think that for me, is their only misstep at this point was that was pointless, except to get the two of them on the show at the same time.
Right.
But I really feel like there should have been something happen.
Oh, of course,
between the two of
sort
them.
of physical action. Now the big question is, this is the rubber match. Who is going over, Punk or Drew? Who needs it more?
I have definitive thoughts on this, but who do you have winning this?
I mean, for me, it's Punk. I mean, I love Drew. I've loved heel Drew. This heel Drew has been nothing but amazing on the socials, on the show, even just living life. He'll just post a video of just something just absurd but amazing.
A picture of him and Jack Perry.
Just so good. Like
that was my favorite.
Like just so good.
That was my favorite. That was really
but for me, I think if you want to truly reestablish Punk back in the WWE, I know he's already had 2 matches, but to really nail that down, you have him get the victory, get the win, and then Punk is officially, like, it feels like, yes, now, like, he's locked in.
I 100% disagree. And not necessarily about what you said, but more about the outcome. So my thought is moving forward. So if this is really going to be the rubber match, let me ask you this first before I give you my thoughts. Do you honestly believe that this is the end of the feud?
Oh, no, I think this feud's going to feed families for years.
Okay.
I don't think this is over by long shot. I feel like this may be a lull.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this match may be like the pause.
Yes. Because
I feel like at some point they're going to revert back to Punk and Rollins.
Yes.
But not before Rollins figures out his deal with Bronson Reed. As you saw at Raw, he came back and cost Bronson Reed the match in the last Monster Standing match, which I thought was actually a really good match. I really enjoyed that match.
I did too.
I thought really enjoyed that match.
I thought that was very well done. I thought the spot where they went through the barricade into the crowd was amazing.
Was really good.
And whether that was actually planned or not is a matter of debate.
Right.
But I think the way they played it went very well. I probably had the same problem that thousands of other people had. The nonsense with the referee after that spot where Bronson Reed had to literally go over and grab the referee and throw him in the ring because the referee was more concerned with the fans at ringside than the match going on, even though like 20 guys had poured out of the back to check on the audience. Yet the referee was still concerned over that when Bronson Reed could have got the win. I did think that the ring exploding was absolutely predictable, but I liked it.
Supposedly they weren't happy with how it broke.
I saw that.
Supposedly it didn't break as it normally had in the past. It just kind of flopped.
I think the issue with it was that it was too predictable.
Well, everybody, we all knew it was going to break.
Coming. However, I thought the best part of the ring exploding was the ref, because the ref was standing there and holding onto the top rope. So when the ring broke, the ref kind of like tumbled head over feet out of the ring. And I thought that was hilarious. I watched it like 4 times. I thought it was great.
But getting back to Punk and Drew,
but I disagree with your assessment on Punk and Drew, and not just, again, it's got nothing to do with Punk. For me, it's the outcome. So here's where I'm at with this. So especially if Seth Rollins is going to be the next person to step into this feud after he's done with Bronson Reed, who should he be stepping into the feud with? Now, I know from what I can see on television that Seth Rollins has legitimate issues with Drew McIntyre.
Yes.
Because I don't see enough on screen, I don't think he has as much of a beef with Punk as he does with McIntyre. Coupled with the fact that I think that CM Punk is more of an attraction. CM Punk is not the kind of guy we're going to see come out and wrestle on every Raw. He's the kind of guy we're going to see at a Bad Blood pay-per-view. We're going to see him 2 months down the line another pay-per-view. We're not going to see him every week wrestling. We can see him on screen, sure.
Yeah, but we're not going to see him wrestle.
If I look at this match and I say to myself, okay, they're playing this up as the end of the feud. I don't believe it's the end of the feud, just like you do. I think this thing is going to carry through till at least WrestleMania. I think we're going to get them again at WrestleMania if we don't get Punk and Cena at WrestleMania, which is where I think it should go. But I don't think this feud is going to end anytime soon. So if this is going to be the definitive ending that they're saying it's going to be for now, I think if you look at moving forward, who do you want to take off TV for a while and who do you want to keep on TV?
Right.
I think Drew McIntyre is the better choice to keep on TV while Punk kind of disappears, and then Seth Rollins gets done with Bronson Reed. Seth Rollins goes after Drew McIntyre.
Right.
We get this Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre feud until, Royal Rumble at least, maybe No Way Out in February. And then when you least expect it, when you have forgotten about him completely, Punk shows up and makes his move.
Right.
I think that's the smart money. Because I think you're going to get more mileage out of keeping Drew on TV. Because when this match is over, somebody's going to have to leave TV for a while.
Oh, for sure.
Couple months at least. It's got to be, we're pushing this to Hell in a Cell.
Right.
So we've now pushed this to a level where we've got to have somebody leave TV after this. We can't just have it be like it can't be like Bronson Reed crushing Braun Strowman on
and then he shows up next week on Raw. He's fine.
Next week and wrestles.
Right.
No, we can't have that. Now, here's my other question. So if this is going to be as absolutely brutal a match as it can be, we have seen many Hell in a Cells in our time. We have seen people go through the top of the cell. Mick Foley twice.
Yes.
We have seen people thrown off the cell. Mick Foley into the announce table.
And Shane.
We have seen, Shane jumped.
Shane too.
Shane jumped. Shane jumped. There's a big difference between the Undertaker throwing you off
and
or
Shane
you
just said, I'm
legitimately deciding, I'm
going to leap off the cell.
My dad will finally give me a hug if I jump off the cell. So what could they possibly do to take this up a notch? Because we've got to see something big here. If we just see those two in a Hell in a Cell match and we don't see something big, even if they're bleeding, whatever happens, we know they're going to bleed. But whatever happens, if they don't do something big, is this match considered a failure as far as the feud goes? Because I feel like they've pushed it to a point where we have to expect something big. CM Punk said he's willing to die. Drew McIntyre said he's willing to die. Like, I get that.
There are lives on the line here.
There are metaphorical lives on
the line.
Here.
Yeah.
Like, nobody is legitimately prepared to go out there and die. However,
but
words are words and characters are characters. So now it's like they've given us a promise that they have to keep. So what could we? I don't know.
Again, I feel like what we've learned here, kids, is that this whole pay-per-view is one big corner. They've backed themselves into a wall. They have this really cool show, really cool ideas for matches, booked really well, but finish-wise, we don't know.
Well, and for as much as they've booked themselves into a corner, can they come up with outcomes that are going to be satisfying to the crowd? I think that's the big concern here. Are they really going to be able to come to satisfying conclusions for these matches, whether it's feuds ending, feuds continuing, new people showing up? When the pay-per-view's over, are we going to say, man, like, this pay-per-view had such high hopes and it just missed? I mean, we're going to have, if Hell in a Cell's opening the card, we're going to have a hell of a long time to sit and think about that match after it's over.
For sure.
And if that's opening the card. Now, I said this earlier. We were talking about this where the WWE has had this sort of mode of operations lately where they're starting off their shows with absolute bangers. Like, they are
huge
killing
matches.
it, like setting a tone. So if this match is really going to be what it's supposed to be, and we're going to see something over the top, we're going to see something that is worthy of this feud and of Hell in a Cell. What's that going to mean for the rest of the card? Are we going to be like, if we see anything less than The Rock come back in the main event, are we going to be disappointed? Because we're like, we just saw, Drew McIntyre, do
whatever to CM Punk.
do like a sit down power bomb off the top of the Hell in a Cell through a
crazy
table. Like, yes, I don't know. I don't know. There is so much potential for this card.
Right.
So much potential. There is one thing before we move on You think Punk's going to win. I think Drew's going to win. We'll see what happens.
Right.
Before we move on, I want to bring up one comment that was made in the chat because I think this is interesting, and this one blows my mind. So, our good friend C. Henry from our watch-alongs, our
What's
chilling
up, buddy?
with the week, gave an interesting comment, and he said, "I believe Tiff will cash in on the Rhea versus Liv match."
Oh,
and I gotta
never
say,
thought of that.
Yes,
I never thought of that.
I gotta say,
good point.
See, Henry gets a prize there because
I never thought about that.
But that is so
that would
brilliant.
Be so surprising. That would be the ultimate surprise.
She's so wrapped up in like the Nia Jackson Bayley thing right now that nobody will see it coming.
And if you have Rhea beat Liv, that's when you do. I think if you do it right and you have really the fans on the edge of their seats, you have Rhea win, big pop. Tiff comes out. Fans may boo or cheer, whatever they think about. She cashes on Rhea and beats her. Is that an awesome ending for the whole show, or does that sour the whole fans? Or you have Liv retain and then she cashes on Liv and she beats her. But I think it would be more important for Tiffany if she cashed it on Rhea and not Liv.
I think it'd be more important for Tiffany, but I don't know if I could see Tiffany
just beating Rhea.
I don't know if I could see Tiffany beating Rhea, to be honest. And it's nothing against Tiffany. She's very talented.
Super talented. Love her.
You know, the moonsault
the
is
next
ridiculous. Oh, absolutely. Like she's got a long career ahead of her. But I don't know if I see her at a point yet where I can see her cleanly going over Rhea unless, you know, it's some sort of situation where you know, Rhea beats Liv. Liv is out cold.
Right.
Dom gets lowered down, comes out of the cage. Rhea is about to hit Dom. Tiff's music hits.
Right.
As she comes running down, you know, Rhea's watching, like Rhea's seeing her come out.
Is like getting ready to go.
Dom grabs Rhea and like throws her into the side of the shark cage. Tiffany comes in, smashes her with the briefcase, cashes in, and wins.
1, 2, 3. Right.
I could see Dom costing Rhea the title again.
Right.
Wow.
And then having the feud continue.
Yeah. So
good job, C. Henry.
Yeah, way to go. Thanks for
points for you.
Yes.
Points
way
for
to
you.
Go, C. Henry. That was
get the points.
That was spectacular. So that is gonna wrap
now let's get down to brass tacks here
up for Bad Blood. But that's not the only show that we've got going on.
Time for the
Guys,
important
we
stuff.
are going to be
the important stuff
in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. We are going to be at Steelstacks Smackdown 3.
That's right.
We are super excited for this. We were at Steelstacks Smackdown 2 last year, and I got to tell you, as far as indie shows go, this show is so.
If you have not gotten tickets yet, I'm telling you,
so
do it. Or IWTV, they are playing it live on IWTV.
Independent Wrestling.
So if you're not there live, you can watch it on IWTV.com.
That is correct.
Watch it there too.
So
don't miss it.
So you have many options, but if you're anywhere near Bethlehem, I can tell you, ringside is sold out. Balcony is sold out. It will be standing room only.
Going to be packed.
I think you can still get tickets at steelstacks.org. Do not quote me on that. They may have ended the sale by now.
They may have.
But if you can't get them at steelstacks.org, you can always walk up to the door, take your chances. Hopefully you'll be one of the 1,000+ people packed into the Music Fest Cafe at Arts Quest. It's going to be an amazing show. I can tell you from last year. We were both there last year.
Front row last year. What an incredible experience. My first Steelstacks. I don't know if, were you at the first one?
I was. So it's interesting. The first Steelstacks, my wife and I went.
Right.
Then the second Steelstacks, you and I went.
Right.
Now for the third Steelstacks, it'll be the
we're
three
all
of
going.
us.
So it's literally 1, 2, and 3.
We're all going. So it'll be a good fun time.
Yeah, one more match than last year, as we've just realized ourselves.
We recounted, yes.
Last year was 7. This year is 8. So one more match to go crazy over. I think it's the same commentary too. They've already announced Ian is back on commentary.
Ian will be. I
don't know if Veda's back or if the other guy's back. But I know for sure.
I don't believe so. I think it's going to be Joe Spasto who does most of their commentary.
Right.
With Avery Good, who will not be commentating this year because he will be wrestling.
Yes, he is back
Avery Good
again.
is coming back
again. He says even though he still thinks he's retired. But every once in a while, he does come out of his.
But he's going to be in Bethlehem, and he's got nothing going on. So they gave him a match. Well, so we'll get into that in a moment.
We'll get into
but
matches shortly.
But I think that'll be the commentary team for this show. I do not believe Veda will be there this year.
Right.
But the thing about Steelstacks, this is the LVAC's big show of the year, and
this is basically their WrestleMania.
If you have not seen an LVAC show, first off, what are you doing?
Get on that.
Secondly, get over to independentwrestling.tv.
Yes.
Sign up for IWTV.
Yes.
It is mere shekels a month.
Yes.
For the amount of content you get is ridiculous.
Mere pennies.
You get more content, I think, on IWTV.
Oh my God. I think out of
for
all
the money
of them,
that you pay than any other streaming
yeah,
service.
dude, there are so many promotions.
Thousands of promotions.
Crazy.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So get over there and sign up for that and catch up on the LVAC.
Watch 1, watch 2, and then tomorrow come back and watch 3.
Yeah. Listen, the LVAC is amazing.
So good.
They put on shows.
Such amazing.
Their home base is National Sokals in Bethlehem. That's usually where they have their Let's Hangouts. They've had a Let's Hangout this year.
Mm-hmm.
They've had a Real Rumble at the Mahoning Drive.
I think this was their busiest year.
They had
so far.
They were involved in Comrades for Vlad.
Yeah.
They've been all over the place. So this is their big show of the year. And after this, as far as I know, there's only one other show signed. They're planning on doing their holiday Let's Hang Out at National Sokals.
Mm-hmm.
But this, again, as we said, this is their big show of the year. This is their version of WrestleMania, and the LVAC does not disappoint.
No,
so if you have been an independent wrestling fan for some time, you will know that there was a huge void left by Chikara when they sort of left the indie scene, whether it be wrestler interactions with wrestlers, wrestler interactions with fans, fan interactions with fans. It was a great place to be, and a great place to be a fan of independent wrestling. Yeah. And the LVAC is really holding that
pretty much that same
up.
standard.
It's the same thing. Chris at the LVAC is, I can't say enough
one of a
things
kind.
about
one
him.
of a kind.
Great guy, huge supporter of the podcast.
Yes, always has been.
Thank him enough for just allowing us. Oh, I forgot. They had the grand opening of the new shop.
Yes,
where they had wrestling.
They had so many. Listen, I'm pretty sure he even said that this year he had the most dates.
They did a show with Smashmaster.
Yeah, they literally had the most shows this year.
So many shows this year
than any other year. It's crazy.
They always put on a great show. They always work with great talent. So
they're always giving back. They're always giving back.
Yes,
most importantly,
there's always charity stuff involved. It's a great organization. So a lot of things going on. We'll get into the card in just a minute, but one of the things I want to bring up is and this directly relates to the main event of the show. The mayor of Bethlehem will be in the house tomorrow night to give
a proclamation.
A proclamation to Big Dan Champion for his charity work. Now, we know that we know from the LVAC's social media that there was a video conference between the mayor and Big Dan to talk about the proclamation, to talk about Steelstacks. And that was interrupted by Ultramantis, who made more threats against Big Dan. So a lot of things going on. We saw the Lost Boys put out a video talking about their match with the Colony, which we'll get into as well. But
I have words for that one.
It's gonna be a fun time. So
let's get into the card.
Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. Bang! Match number 1. We're going to talk about
huge.
This is a huge match.
This is they got a lot of big names this year for Steelstacks, and one of those names obviously is on the screen is Mercedes Martinez, huge name taking on Erica Lee, and I'm not sure you would know more than I do. Is this Mercedes' first time being on a LVAC show or not?
I believe that this is. Now, obviously, we know Mercedes Martinez from her work on the Indies,
AEW,
Mae Young
WWE.
Classic, just all over the place.
She's been everywhere.
And we've recently seen Erica Lee on AEW television with the Outrunners. So Erica Lee is getting some major exposure, some national exposure. And Erica Lee is a veteran of the LVAC, having been at Real Rumbles previously, having teamed with the Proletariat Boar in Gummy Boar.
Yep.
So both competitors. I mean, this is going to be this is going to be an impressive match.
I'm
super excited for this one. Both tremendous talents in the ring. I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see not only the level of competition. The level of competition across the board.
Oh, it's going to be ridiculous.
The female wrestlers they're bringing, the male wrestlers are bringing in. It's just across the board. They are bringing in such amazing talent, and I'm super excited for this one.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be interesting to see. You know, who gets the advantage here.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, we haven't seen Erica Lee in LVAC in a little while, so you know, it's going to be a big challenge for her, but
absolutely,
I think she's up for it. And you know, anytime you get to see Mercedes Martinez, it's a treat. Yes, it is absolutely a treat. So this one is going to be really exciting. You know, there's fewer singles matches on the card this year than there are
a lot of trios, tag matches,
so,
trios matches.
So I'm super excited for this one. I think it's going to be a great singles match.
I agree.
Now, moving on, we have another singles match.
Yes.
And I believe, if I'm correct, the LVAC stated this as a match of two future superstars.
Oh,
and they could not be more right.
Right.
Young Jay Lee has been around the LVAC before. So we've seen him. Obviously, Junie Underwood.
He's been on the show before.
He's been, yes, he was on another episode of the Opinion City Late Night.
Yes, with me and the doctor himself, Ethan Wild.
Yes,
as my co-host.
Yeah. So, we know that both of these guys are super impressive. Junie Underwood, 1/4 of the Lost Boys,
the Pyro Prince.
And so it's interesting to me. So I know this is going to be a crazy parallel.
Oh yeah.
But here's the thing. We just saw the 5th anniversary show of AEW, which opened up with a phenomenal contest between Ricochet and Will Ospreay.
Right.
And everybody talks about Will Ospreay, you know, one of the greatest in the world. Ricochet, one of the greatest in the world. A super underrated talent that did not get the credit he deserved in WWE. However, I feel like this match here could not only quite possibly steal the show, but I think it could be so underrated that, you know, in the future we're looking at this as a Ricochet Will Ospreay type of moment where we have two just incredible talents that are, I think, guys like Junie and Young, I think they're at the point where they just need the right exposure and they are going to explode. I look at a guy like Speedball Mike Bailey, and I think this is a great compliment for these two guys. But I also think it's a great parallel as well, because I feel like Speedball was a guy for a while that was just waiting for that one moment where the right people got eyes on him, and I think that's where these two are right now. Because I can't tell you, this was I think this was one of the first couple matches announced, and I was super excited for this one. I think this is just going to be a great show of talent between these two. I'm super excited for this match.
We've seen Junie wrestle a few times now, and in the talent that man has, and I don't think I've seen Jay Lee wrestle yet, unless he was on the same show.
He was at the grand opening of
I did see him wrestling. Got it. Yes,
you know,
just as good.
Yes,
just again
the Nickel Fest.
The talent that these two have. The talent that these two possess.
Oh yeah,
this could definitely be match of the night for sure. Oh yeah,
this one could easily steal the show. Do not sleep on this match.
No.
All right, moving on. We have our first tag team match.
This should be fun.
Yes.
So much fun.
I'm super excited for this one, and I have to say that if I'm looking at the competitors in this match, there is a ton of mean in this match.
Oh, a ton of mean. You have the spiteful brute, of course, Harleen Lopez, who, as we've known for some time now, does watch the show. So hi, Harleen.
Hello, Harleen.
We have Vita Von Star.
Now listen, Vita Von Star is, and whether it's deserved or not, Vita Von Star has got a take no prisoners attitude. Like
about the business.
She is
all business.
She stepped up to Cheeseburger. Like she is so if I'm looking at Vita and Harleen on the same team, I'm like, wow, this is like, it's like a meeting of the meanie powers.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty rough. But then on the other side, you have LMK.
Yes. So,
which for those who may not know, what does LMK mean?
Well, so we have Little Mean Kathleen.
There you go.
So we've got some meanness there as well. Little Mean Kathleen is a lot of fun. I will say that much. And I'm super excited to see Faye Jackson back at the LVAC. So if we're looking at the stats here, Faye Jackson, we have not seen her in the LVAC since the very first Real Rumble in 2020.
Which is crazy.
So on night 2, she was in a winning tag team effort with Megabyte Ronnie.
Okay.
Yes. So we have not seen Little Mean Kathleen since Holiday Hangout of last year, where she had a tag team win with Clara Carreras over Harleen. So there's some connections here, but I'm super excited. As I said before, I feel like the level of talent for this year's show is very
they
high.
Went above and beyond for the third one. If this is the trilogy of Steelstacks, they didn't to around.
So Harleen has been at Steelstacks Smackdown before, so I think this is going to be a great match. I expect this to be just a hard hitting match.
It's going to be a not to make punny words, a brutal match.
Oh, it is. It's going to be brutal, but brutal in the best way possible.
Of course.
So I'm super excited for this match. It's interesting. We're gonna skip back for a moment here because we've been talking about these matches, but we haven't been talking about who we think is going to go over in these matches. Oddly enough,
of course, it's harder. So on any shows, it's harder to say because we can't predict who's going to win, which I think is more fun.
It's harder to say, but I think our excitement for this event have
overshadowed that.
So let's run this back here just for a moment.
A second.
Do you see Erica Lee getting the win over Mercedes Martinez, or do we see Mercedes?
I think if this is going to be Mercedes' debut, whether she does more LVSC matches or not, I think you have her go over.
Okay, all right. I think either way it's going to be a great match, but I think that Erica Lee could surprise her here.
She could.
I think it's very possible.
I'm not saying she can. I'm just saying for me, in my eyes, in my head, if I were to book this show, not that I'm a booker, you're more of a booker than I will ever be. But you've had the experience. But if in my head, if I'm thinking about the mindset of a booker, I would think if this is your big debut on our show, let's give you the W, or let's give you a good showing and have the LVAC star beat you. Either way,
I don't know. We'll
my vote's on Mercedes.
All right. So we talked about Junie and Young Lee. I think this is again Junie being 1/4 of the Lost Boys who are also on the show. You always have the Lost Boys in the shadows. Those
always.
Where you
those
see one,
dastardly Lost Boys.
Oh, when you see one, you see many. But I think this is going to be a great match. Jay Lee could get the surprising win.
I'm going
here.
with Prince for this one, man.
You think?
All right, Prince, Junie, my boy.
All right.
I'm going for you.
All right. So now we get back to the match we were talking about. Vita Von Star and Harleen Lopez taking on Little Mean Kathleen and Faye Jackson. I think in this match, and again, no, I'm not taking anything away from anybody, and I'm not disrespecting anybody.
Never would.
But I think that I don't see either Vita or Harleen being able to steamroll their way through Faye Jackson. I think, listen, nothing against Little Mean Kathleen, but I think Faye Jackson is going to get in there and show people, just
exactly
who
boss.
she is.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I think she's going to get in there and show them the business end.
I feel that.
A beat.
I feel that.
Yep. They're going the right way for a smack bottom.
Right.
All right. So moving on to our next tag team match.
Another great. God. This card's just stacked, man.
This one is exciting. We
super
have
exciting.
Channing Tatum returning again.
Channing Thomas.
I'm sorry, Channing Thomas. How did I
wrong actor?
How did I do that? Which Channing Thomas, yes, he's much better looking.
Fair.
So he is coming back to the LVAC
without the manager though.
Well, that's
Sydney.
Well, that's the issue here. And he is teaming with newcomer Landon Hale, who we have not seen in the LVAC before.
No.
So here you have two guys teaming together who may not have a lot of experience together. Channing is without the two-time former WWF Hall of Famer,
without the proper tutelage of
Sidney Bacabella.
Bacabella is not there, injured actually.
Who is at home?
Isn't he injured?
He is
He's
at
injured.
home. As I understand it, he turned down a booking from Fritz von Erich. So Fritz von Erich sent some guys to Sidney's home to take him out, and they were not able to complete the job.
Get the job right.
They were not able to get the job done. But as I understand from, if I'm getting the reports correctly from Sidney's doctors, I understand that they may be trying a full body transplant. On Sidney. So it could be some time till we see him again. Of course. From everybody here at Opinion City, we want to send our well wishes out to
feel better, man.
Out to Sidney Bacabella.
Go watch this episode.
I know that Jesse Ventura tried to get you to join the union, and you said no.
You said no.
So hopefully, whatever health care you have now,
just as good.
Maybe the boys in Florida can throw together some money for you down in the territories there, to get you back on your feet. But back to the match at hand.
Of course.
Obviously, Sidney Bacabella,
a mismatched team with a very, very matched team.
Ooh, listen,
a very almost two matched. You have King Crab and Murloc.
All hail King Crab.
All hail King Crab. All hail Murloc too.
Listen,
I don't want him to hurt me.
No.
He scares me. I don't see. I'm sorry. New tag team or not, Shane Thomas or not, I don't see Murloc and Crab losing this match.
Creatures of the Deep, man.
They run such a history.
Yeah,
such a history.
A lot of tag team experience, a lot of trios experience. They've been around each other for a long time. Obviously, coming from the deep, there's all types of implications there, but. I'm excited for this one. I always love a good King Crab match.
I just love that he just yells. In the match.
Yeah,
he just yells at everyone. Yells at the referee. Yells at you. Yells at you. Yells at me.
Yes, and Murloc is super intense.
And Murloc's just quiet.
Yeah,
he just grumbles a lot.
Murloc's a monster.
He just grumbles a lot.
You don't get in his
no,
way.
You don't mess with him.
But again. I'm excited to see Landon Hale and see how he does. Channing Thomas is extremely talented.
He is.
I wouldn't put anything past the two of them. However, I think that the Creatures of the Deep here, King Crab and Murloc, are going to get the win. They just have more tag team experience.
They have the experience. They have the history. They have the years of time built into that team, the group, the trio, the faction.
Yeah,
the Chikara days, like they have so much history there that they are like this. They're like glue. Their tag team is unmatched.
Yes. So speaking of unmatched tag teams, and tag teams that have a lot of history together, we got another huge tag team match here.
Yeah, Club Soda.
This is insane though. Think about this. So we've got Club Soda. Obviously, with Simon Sutherland bringing the squirt as no one can.
But their opponents, though,
listen.
This is a crazy tag team. You have Leo Sparrow, and Jimmy Lloyd as a tag team.
I don't even know what to say about this.
When they announced that, I was blown away. I was like, that's such a crazy
Jimmy Lloyd
tag team that just might work.
That's gonna be something, man.
Yeah, it's like as much as I would vote for Club Soda, but this is another team. This is the opposite of last match, where I think even though Club Soda are such a well-oiled team, you don't. First of all, no one messes with Jimmy Lloyd.
No, they do not.
And then you have Leo Sparrow, who's just such an amazing indie talent.
But they're so
killing on the scene.
I don't know. You could not have guys that are more opposite.
Oh, they are the exact opposite. But
it's gonna
could work. Almost
but that's going to be so fun.
Yeah,
that's what's going to be great about it. And listen, if you have never had the opportunity to see Club Soda, especially if you have never had the opportunity to see them live, get to Steelstacks.
It's worth it.
get to
So much
IWTV.
fun. Yeah.
Club Soda might be honestly, and I'm throwing this out there. I know we've had Puff on the show before.
We have.
We haven't had the opportunity to get Jeff Cannonball
Not
on
yet,
the show yet,
but maybe one day.
But it's exciting to see Jeff. Obviously, he's had some recent health issues, so it's great to be able to see him
back. Yep.
The fact that he's gonna be there, not gonna miss Steelstacks SmackDown,
nope.
super exciting.
Yeah,
but I mean, we may be a little biased here, but honestly, Club Soda might be the most fun tag team in the history of wrestling.
They're so much fun. They are
in the history of wrestling.
So
I would put
fun.
them up against anybody else. It is an experience.
Their entrance is a sight to behold.
Oh, listen, at the last Let's Hang Out at Sokos with the exploding squirt can. Oh, man.
That was hilarious.
Such a good time. Those guys.
Yeah,
always a good time.
And just in case you guys weren't aware, we all know the fun facts. You know the fun fact that Simon has said: lukewarm squirt. That's the way to go.
Room temperature,
That's
man.
the way to go.
It's room temperature or nothing. And listen, this is coming from a guy.
Ralph had it firsthand at that show.
This is coming from a guy that hates, like, I drink coffee, but that's it.
Yeah.
Like, everything else has to be
cold.
ice cold for me. And I tried room temperature squirt.
And it was life-changing.
It was the bomb. It
life-changing.
It was a I don't even know how to describe it.
Out-of-body experience.
It was. It was like all of these years.
Right.
I've thought of this one way, and
boom, just in a whole other way.
There's a whole other way. I don't know how to describe it. It's pretty sad that we're looking at these 4 talents here, and all 5 talents.
5.
I can't leave Simon Sutherland out.
Simon's a talent too.
We're sitting here talking about these 5 talents, and the biggest thing we can talk about is squirt soda.
But that's what they're known for.
I know.
Amazingly, that's what they're known for. I mean, but
all right.
I digress though. My bet's still on. Again, I'm not gonna go against Jimmy Lloyd, so I'm saying Jimmy Lloyd and Leo for the win here.
Man, I have a hard time betting against Club Soda.
Me too, but like, listen.
But here's the real question. Will they get Jimmy Lloyd to drink a squirt?
I think they could. I think they could. I think they could.
You think maybe there's like?
I think maybe there's some good in there.
A pre-match squirt summit.
There's some good in there. I think where you can get it out. You know,
pre-match squirt summit where they all enjoy a squirt together, and then Jimmy says, "Screw this,"
and then just starts going, brawling.
Yep. All right. So this will be a very interesting match. Always fun to see Club Soda. Always great to see Leo Sparrow, super talented. Jimmy Lloyd.
Enough said.
Like, we don't even. There's nothing else to say about Jimmy Lloyd. Don't miss this one. Be it live at Steelstacks or watching at home on IWTV.
That's right.
Do not miss this one.
No.
All right. Moving on. This, I believe. So we've got a tag team match here.
Yes, we do.
And in this tag team match, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, that Alley Catch and Effie were 2 of like the first 3 wrestlers announced for the show.
Yes.
I believe.
Right.
If I'm remembering correctly, I believe that Wheeler Yuta was first, and then Effie and Alley Catch.
Yep.
So they were just announced for the show. We had no idea what they were doing.
Yep.
Lucky 13, not even announced for the show yet.
Nope.
And then boom, out of nowhere, the man himself, the real mayor of the Lehigh Valley, the king of wrestling, the king of commentary, the man can do it all.
Yep.
Avery Good, professional wrestler turned Avery Good, professional commentator, is now coming back
as professional wrestler,
as Avery Good, professional wrestler. And
again,
this is,
if this is anything like The Undertaker, we could see Avery just come back just for Steelstacks every year and just do this one match a year, and that's it. Like,
I'd be down.
I'd be down with that.
And I don't even know if they meant this on purpose, but Lucky and Good's a great tag team.
It's a great name. It's really it works. It works so well.
Now, as everyone who watches this show on the regular knows, you are from New Jersey.
Yes,
and so you are a fan of Lucky 13.
I am.
As Lucky 13 is a product,
yes,
of New Jersey, and so
CCC.
We are both fans of Lucky 13.
Oh, of course.
So Lucky 13 Just a little backstory between our love of Lucky 13.
Yes.
Not only is Lucky 13 a great hardcore wrestler, but when Lucky 13 came to the LVAC, we were like, wait a minute, how's this going to work?
Right.
He was tagging with Brandon Kirk,
which again,
at the same time.
We thought, how is this going
to work? You know, and I got to tell you, the LVAC versions of Lucky 13 and Brandon
were
Kirk
so much
were
fun.
Amazing.
I love the little sand bombs, the little pocket sand.
Oh,
I just
so
like it's crazy how you can have all three of them because I think it was Cannonball, Kirk, and Lucky 13 on a team, and they were all hardcore wrestlers.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, how do you make them not hardcore? Make them really, really, really fun. And put the fun up to 11. And fun Cannonball, amazing. Fun Kirk, amazing. Fun Lucky 13 though.
And I am so excited to see the chemistry between Avery Good and Lucky 13. That is going to be so much fun.
That itself are like two opposites. Yes. Again.
Yes. But they have no experience tagging together.
They don't.
Whereas their opponents have a lot of experience tagging together in other organizations under a different name that we won't mention.
No.
But Effie and Alley Catch. I will be the first to admit I have never seen Effie wrestle live. This will be a first for me.
This is my first live Effie match. Yeah,
I have seen Alley Catch back in the day in Chikara, tagging with Juke Joint Calhoun. So I've seen Alley Catch before. I've never seen Effie.
Yep.
I'm excited for this.
Super excited for Effie live.
Not just for Avery coming back, not just for tagging with Lucky 13, but I'm excited for all four opponents in this match. For everyone. Again, I've never seen Effie live.
Nope.
I'm super excited to be able to meet these people. Do not forget, there's an hour-and-a-half meet and greet before the show.
Yes.
6:30 the meet and greet starts. 8 o'clock bell time. So a 90-minute meet and greet. You yourself could come out and meet Effie or Allie or Lucky 13 or
all of them.
Avery Good,
whoever.
So I'm super excited.
I can't wait
to meet these people. I'm super excited to get to see them wrestle. Again, I think this is going to be a great match, and I think this is one of those examples of what the LVAC really does well.
Yes,
you know, they bring in talents, they bring in names, people that may not have been there before, people that may have been there before, but they do such a great job of putting them with LVAC regulars and giving us surprises like this. This match came out of nowhere. The Avery Good promo came out of nowhere.
Oh, literally, it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
he was just like, "Hey guys, what's up? I'm back."
Yeah,
okay.
Never expected to see it, like not at all. But this is going to be a great match, and again, this is showing the level of Steelstacks.
Oh yeah,
this
they're
is showing
up in their game from last
the power
year,
of this
from
event.
the year before.
Yeah. All right, so that's going to wrap up our tag team matches. But we've got
this one now. This one we got to talk about because there is beef, and I don't mean the teams. I mean the beef within the team.
All right,
I'm talking about the colony.
Yeah. So
as we know, as we have seen, as we have witnessed, we even had them on the podcast to try and hash things out, work things out, and at the Creek Brewing Company, at Comrades for Vlad's, Electro Ant turned on Thief Ant.
No,
if you got that backwards.
You've got it all backwards.
All backwards.
So the match was Ultimo Ant versus Worker Ant. Electro Ant was the special guest referee. And
either way,
Electro Ant turned on Worker.
Yes, I got the names wrong, but the idea was right. Either way, we saw Electro Ant turn on Worker Ant, and now we're here. So now I'm like thinking, did they work things out? Are they still butting heads? Are Worker Ant and Ultimo Ant friends again? Yeah, so
inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. It's so up in the air. However, their opponents in the Lost Boys, if you have recently visited LVAC's social media, specifically their Instagram, you will see a reel from the Lost Boys where
very serious promo.
They're ready to go, man. They've been beating up their own ants. apparently, which
and
I'm sorry to hear that for their aunts, because I'm sure they're lovely women. But
interesting tie-in to everything, where at the end of the promo they said they will be the king of trios after they beat the Colony.
After they beat the Colony, they will be the king of trios. So
reference.
Yeah, interesting there. So this match, we know both of these teams. So we know we know the Colony, we know their propensity for trios wrestling. Obviously, Electro and Ultimo have more experience together with Worker recently, in the last few years, coming in to join them again. But we've seen their trios work. We know that they're a cohesive team when they are a cohesive team.
When they are, because but this night, I mean,
we just don't know.
There's more questions.
There's questions. Now, we've seen the Lost Boys many times, and we've seen the devious side of the Lost Boys, cheating shenanigans side of the Lost Boys, willing to do anything to win at all costs. So this one's going to be interesting. I think this one's a hard one to call, because I think I think it's all going to come down to,
can the Colony coexist?
Wow, can the Colony coexist? I mean, we don't know.
We don't.
That's the big
right
question
now
here.
for me. The Lost Boys kind of have an up on them, because they are such a cohesive tag team, and they always always have been, and they have never strayed. Whereas the Colony recently, in the last few months, have strayed from that cohesiveness.
And don't forget, the Lost Boys are not alone. The fourth member of the team will be in the building.
He'll be there. So
he'll be there. So listen, you never know what's going to happen, but I this is too close to call. We've got to see where the mind frame and the heads are out of the Colony.
Yeah.
All right. So that is going to bring us to our massive main event.
Dude, this main event, when they announced it, oh man, like, how much more stacked can you get? Look at that photo.
If I am correct in my speaking here, and I believe I am, this is the largest main event in the history of the LVAC.
If that's the case, it doesn't surprise me. So tell them what's on the one side.
Okay. So we've got the
first of all, tell us what the name of the one side is. That was recently coined by one Ultramantis Black.
The Spectral Order of the Neo-Solar Horde.
There you go.
I so badly want that
needs to be on a shirt. Exactly.
That's the first thing I thought of. I might be bringing a sign to the show that says that.
I need this shirt. We'll
be sitting front row. I might be bringing a sign that says that.
I want that on a shirt.
All right. So let's talk about that side first. So obviously, the leader of this group, Ultramantis Black, who has reunited with his
old
former cohorts. We saw them reunite at the last Let's Hang Out, where Ultramantis reunited with Frightmare and Hallowicked. We did not know at the time, though, that the reuniting of the Spectral Envoy would turn into what it did, where they just went nuts.
The Bateri came out.
The Bateri came out and joined
crazy.
in. Now, here's the thing. So we've seen iterations of this together, and we've seen Ultramantis on the same team with the Bateri and Hallowicked and Frightmare, but the dark horse here is Delirious. Because we've never seen Delirious on a team with the other five. So Delirious is really the dark horse here, and honestly, if you look at the history of Delirious and Ultramantis and this group in general, Delirious has quite the checkered and historical past with these people. We really saw Delirious become who he became after the sort of hexing from Ultramantis, and then we saw Delirious turn on Ultramantis and destroy the thing I'm not supposed to talk about that may not exist, and I've been cursed
be out
because
there,
I've said it. But we're seeing a return to form here of the former team of the Hexed Men in Ultramantis and the Bateri and Frightmare and Hallowicked. Now my question, and So we have had we've spoken to Ultramantis, we've spoken to Hallowicked at Real Rumble.
Yep.
We have had the Batiri on an episode.
We have,
and we talked to the Batiri, and I brought this up, and I am interested to see if the Batiri are going to turn back to the red and black.
That's right. Yeah,
I'm super excited.
They have said on record that they would definitely be into it.
They would be down for it because they felt that when they got the chance to do that previously, they did not have enough time. So they really enjoyed their time with it. Yeah. So that could be pretty sick. I'm excited to see all of this. So again, we harken back to the last Let's Hang Out at National Sokos, where
so much happened in that one show. So much
everyone turned on Big Dan. It was a disaster. It was a mess. I believe it was La Chica, Claire Carreras, who in the ring made a challenge, threw out a challenge. And so this is what we've come to now. Big Dan has gone out and recruited some big talent.
Who's who?
Oh, listen.
We have a who's who of names for Big Dan's side.
Indeed we do.
Cheeseburger. We have Yuta. We have Carreras.
Yes.
We have Tracy Williams.
Yes.
We have Drew Gulak.
This is insane.
We have just an insane tag team.
So let's talk a little bit about what's happening here. So Big Dan has some recent history with Cheeseburger. Cheeseburger in his first title defense for Labor of Love, where he defended his citywide championship during WrestleMania week, defeated Big Dan. Obviously Big Dan and Cheeseburger continue to remain friends throughout that.
Respect.
Claire Carreras has quite the history in the LVAC. She has been on the side of good and on the side of Big Dan throughout this. The dark horses here are the other three members. So Wheeler Yuta was actually at Steelstacks Smackdown
last year
too. However, due to injury, was unable to compete. So we're getting to see Wheeler Yuta here, casting away his possible, nefarious connections in AEW to come here and fight for the side of good.
I was going to say, though, my concern is, if you've been watching AEW, Yuta's kind of losing his mind a little bit. So my concern is, will he lose his mind in the negative way in this matchup? So will he let his emotions get the better of him?
Well, one thing we know is that Wheeler Yuta and Big Dan have a bit of a past. They've known each other for a long time. So definitely not someone that I'm surprised that he brought in to join his side.
And I believe last year, even though he was injured, he did turn heel during the show last year.
He did. It'll be interesting to see to see where all of that lands. Now, as far as Drew Gulak and Tracy Williams, Tracy Williams has had some time in LVAC before. Interestingly enough, Frightmare teamed with Delirious last year, and they lost to Tracy Williams and Matt Mikowski.
There you go.
So, I can see where Tracy Williams fits into this, and I can see where Tracy Williams fits into this. And most recently, we saw Drew Gulak, make his debut with the LVAC. He's been around for a couple shows, and obviously, we've seen Drew Gulak, Tracy Williams, two trainers at Catch
have
Point,
a great match together.
Throw it down.
Drew
Gulak picking up the win over Tracy Williams. But again, two, Pennsylvania names. Obviously affiliated with Catch Point in Philadelphia, and so we've got this. We got this Pennsylvania connection. So I think they're interesting choices. Again, Big Dan trying to band together who he can to fight these nefarious forces.
And the big question of the whole thing is this Big Dan's swan song? Is this his last match in his career?
Here's some interesting, and we don't know. we thought that this might be Big Dan's swan song.
Mm-hmm.
We thought that this might be his last match.
Mm-hmm.
However, sources have said, and I can't reveal my sources,
right.
But there are sources that have said that Big Dan may have made a statement that this might not be his last. Being that there's another, now, again, this is interesting. Being there's another hangout at Sokol's for the holiday hangout.
Yep.
Big Dan did say that his last Let's Hangout was going to be his last appearance at Sokol's.
Well, there you go. So it might be at the holiday hangout.
It might be.
So, I mean,
could this be the end?
The last one could be his last one if he doesn't do this one, but he could do this one, and then
we just don't.
Either way, my biggest question is because out of both the odds,
yes,
on the side of Ultra Madness, you have a very cohesive, other than maybe Delirious, tag team, whereas Big Dan's side, you have a hodgepodge of names.
Yes,
can they coexist?
And I feel like, Big Dan is fighting for survival here.
Of course, I mean,
so
really,
he's banding people together to help him fight for survival. Yeah. Whereas Ultra Mantis has his team laser focused,
locked in
on the destruction of Big Dan.
Yeah, they are just
so. Will the forces of evil prevail?
Yeah, my only thing is Delirious, because Delirious to me doesn't seem like he's totally on that side, but he's on that side.
But we just don't know. There's so much history there, and I feel like, I feel like they're a cohesive unit, but Big Dan is Big Dan, and
that's true.
Big Dan finds a way to get through,
get things done.
So we'll see. Will this lead into a situation where Big Dan has to make an appearance at Holiday Hangout?
Right.
Maybe there's a situation
you might have to.
Big Dan has to take care of. Who knows?
Take care of business.
So I think either way, I think this is going to be an entertaining show.
Yes,
I think
I think so too.
I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I think that my microphone is trying to kill me.
No, we're good. It's okay.
So I think that
either
way,
baby.
Yes, I think that either way, this is going to be a great show.
It is.
I think that this is.
I can't wait.
The biggest main event in the history of the LVAC. I am
Huge.
so super excited for this. Anybody that knows me knows what a big fan I am. If you were at the Let's Hang Out at Sokol's, where the Spectral Envoy
when they turned,
you
would never see someone as excited as this guy was.
I was so excited. They turned. Oh boy, was I! It was a great moment. A lot of memories of the history of the Spectral Envoy, the history of the Batiri, just seeing all of that come back together again, and seeing them get another run together again. I mean, this show from beginning to end is just.
If you haven't got tickets, I'm telling you, either get the tickets, go to Will Call, go to wherever. If not, go to IWTV, get that for I think it's $10.
Yes,
$9.99, whatever it is. Get on there, watch 2. Then watch 3.
And as we mentioned earlier, Ian Riccaboni will be on commentary.
Yes, he will.
So if you're watching on IWTV or you're catching the future DVD release of this event, you will get to hear the dulcet tones of Ian Riccaboni.
That's right.
Another Lehigh Valley alumni coming back to enjoy some Lehigh Valley wrestling. Of course, as we mentioned earlier, all of this is available. It will be streaming live on independentwrestling.tv.
Mm-hmm.
Not only do you get the entire LVAC catalog on IWTV, you get thousands of other promotions. It's incredible.
You can watch Takara. You can watch Takara.
There's so much you can watch on there. I say this every year, and I say, this is the LVAC's biggest show of the year. This is going to be an amazing show. The talent that's booked is amazing. Every year, to be completely honest, they find a way to outdo that. They find a way to somehow outdo my expectations. Like, the show should be this good, and it ends up being this good. Yes, it's unbelievable. We will be there. We will be
Yes.
there during the
Come
meet
say
and
hi.
greet. Please come say hi. If you see us filming and you want to talk to us,
Just join us.
come over and
Why not?
come over and
Why
hop
not?
on screen. Listen, we want to talk to everybody.
And
We want to
anybody.
talk to
Yes.
wrestlers.
Yes.
We want to talk to fans.
Yes.
We're there to have a good time. We're there to talk to everybody and just get everybody's opinions on the event, everybody's opinions on the LVAC.
Right.
It's going to be an amazing show.
Amazing.
So do not forget, it is a 6:30 door opening for the meet and greet. That is an hour and a half meet and greet, 8 p.m. for the bell time.
Yep.
Steelstacks.org is, with the exception of at the door, steelstacks.org is your last hope to get tickets.
Yes.
So do not sleep on that. If
Don't
you
sleep.
have not gotten that,
Don't sleep.
standing only ticket, get yourself a ticket, get in there. Even at standing only, it's an incredible event.
An experience.
It is. It's an experience. You've never been to an indie show like this. If you've never been to a Steel Stack show before, let me tell you, the ring up against the completely open window wall with the steel stacks all lit up in the background.
So sick.
It is
so sick.
It is an unbelievable it is an unbelievable atmosphere.
It is.
And the LVAC is honestly the best place to go and meet
the place to be
because everybody is so friendly, everybody is so welcoming. You will just have a great time. It is an independent wrestling event unlike any other wrestling event. We will both be there. Kenny P will be joining us as well. Kenny P will be there. So for those of you that have caught Kenny P on Grappling with the Grooves, you've got Kenny P filling in on streams with the OC. Listen, Kenny P is going to be there as well. So if you see Kenny, definitely
say hi.
Definitely say hi. Tell him you're a fan.
Oh, and don't forget the vegan menu.
Listen,
the vegan menu.
Listen, I'm going to tell it to you straight, just like the LVAC does.
Yep.
When you are with the LVAC, you are vegan.
You are. That's
no chickie tendies.
No exceptions.
None.
No exceptions.
No. So get yourself some of that great vegan food.
That's right.
Don't forget about the libacious drinks available.
Yes, of course.
At the Music Fest Cafe in the Arts Quest building. Again, it's such an entertaining time.
Absolutely.
It is the. It's
the place to be.
I know that there are a lot of indie events out there every year, and I know that there are a lot of great companies that put on a lot of great shows. So I would never take anything away from them. But honestly, I have to say, for my money, this is the best independent show all year long that you can go to.
Yep.
And now, even if you can't be there in person, you can stream
watch it online
on IWTV.
Yep,
so
that's right.
There's no reason not to see this show.
No.
So enjoy Steel Stacks Smackdown.
Right.
Enjoy Bad Blood. Make
yep.
sure you're subscribed to Peacock so you get that Bad Blood show. 6:00 tomorrow.
Yep.
You can start Bad Blood, switch over to Steel Stack Smackdown,
or
on
watch
IWTV.
them at the same time.
Watch them at the same time.
Whatever.
Skip the beginning of Bad Blood, watch Steel Stack Smackdown, and then watch Bad Blood back to back. Like we probably we'll probably be up till like 3 a.m.
Right, at least.
Bad Blood.
Maybe we'll see.
So it's a great weekend to be a wrestling fan. So
always
enjoy all of that wrestling. We will be back on Sunday.
Yes.
Time to be determined.
Yes, we'll figure it out.
Keep an eye on the YouTube channel, keep an eye on the socials, but we will be back with Opinion City episode number 75. 75, where we give our review of Bad Blood, Steel Stack Smackdown. We're going to give you our report from Steel Stack Smackdown, tell you everything that went down there, who we got to talk to, all the good stuff. We'll talk about what happened at Bad Blood.
Yes.
And it's just gonna be a great weekend to be a wrestling fan. So
can't wait.
If you see us at Steel Stack Smackdown, if you see us in the Bethlehem area, if you see us anywhere at Steel Stacks on Saturday, we'll probably be walking around. Definitely come say hi. We always love meeting fans and talking to fans because we do all this for you guys. So definitely definitely come say hi to us. Come say hi to us at the show and just enjoy the weekend being a wrestling fan.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's going to do it for this late night edition of Opinion City. Our previews of Bad Blood and Steel Stack Smackdown 3 for Parmesan. I'm King Ralph. This has been the Opinion City Podcast. We will see you guys on Sunday.
Well, that's it. I really hope you enjoyed it. We had a ball making it. Thank you very much.